Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to talk about resumes and updating your resume today in the most straightforward, easy way possible, because I know it can be daunting. Maybe you don't have the language that's coming to you in the time of frustration and overwhelming nature that's happening right now because you got laid off. And a lot of people will try to ping you or they'll share, like, hey, these are great opportunities to update your resume. Their services. You can pay a small flat fee, maybe $10, maybe $50, but my word of advice is if you could do it using a free tool, use the free tool and get yourself 90, 95% of the way there, then leverage your network and ask them for feedback on your resume. All of those things are free. You don't need to go and use and pay money. $50, that can take you like Chipotle like 10 times. And I'm a huge Chipotle fan. If you follow me, you'll learn that. I'll probably talk about them. I might even apply. Who knows? Chipotle for me. If that's a perk, sign me up. But anyways, let's jump into how this works. First, let me share my screen. I'll share my entire desktop again, just so everyone can see what I'm looking at. Number one, I want to talk about nomenclature when naming your resume. I find that, and this is not like industry best practice or anything, I don't know what recruiters want, but for the sake of your own understanding when it comes to looking for things, if you do it by numbers, it will be chronological. If you do it by like name and letter, it won't be. So one thing to avoid, or one way to do this so that you avoid that confusion and sorting, is actually start with the year. So 2025 is the year of my resume. I always do underscores because it makes it a lot easier to read when you're saving and looking at your saved files. So 2025 underscore resume underscore Dre underscore Jankowski underscore, and then I add something. So this specific resume is underscore UW, which is Upwork, because I do have an Upwork profile. I've used Upwork in the past. I'm gonna make a whole segment on that. Don't you worry, we'll get there. And then I have my regular one that I use for 2025 underscore resume underscore Dre underscore Jankowski. That's for the things that I'm applying to that don't pertain to Upwork. And those resumes are catered slightly differently. Now, you could create a plethora of different resumes. I personally don't go through that. I'm a big advocate of one resume should apply to 90, 95% of the jobs that you're applying to. You shouldn't have to cater your resume because your skills should be transferable, and the way you write your resume should indicate that your skills are transferable. This is my thought process. Other people feel differently. So, first and foremost, I do have the resume that I have opened, and I'm always open to helping you with your resume if this is too tough for you or you can't figure it out. But I encourage you to do this so you can unblock yourself quickly. This is my resume. I do my full address, I do my phone number and my email address, then my name. I have my education at the top. My philosophy is I like to reduce the amount of white space that I have. Some formatting I'm going to run through first, and then we'll get into how to update or what we update. At CrowdStrike, I like to put the company, the location. I was remote. I then put the level that I was at in the team if it's relevant, right? In this case, I was in user interface, which is front end. It's relevant for people within the tech community who work maybe in cybersecurity, they'll understand, but it might not be relevant for someone who's in like transportation. I then go through and I like to lead, I like to start with a word that is big and actionable of something that I did. I focused, right? I ensured, I did a thing, right? Having this verb or adverb at the beginning, I think is powerful. I also like to, another organization tip when you're going through these, I always keep the longest sentence at first and the next longest sentence after that, and I go back down because you're trying to maximize the amount of white space you have. And readability wise, this looks very good for the user's eye very quickly. As I go through, you can see like in the beginning, I had some that were very big in the start and then it dwindles down, but I'm really leveraging and utilizing the amount of space that I can get. As I scroll through that, you can see that. Now, let's say I didn't have my updated engineering program manager 3 position. First and foremost, I highly recommend you go to your career page at the last company you were at, the company that you're getting laid off from, or the current company at if you're currently in the role and you just need to make the update. I'm going to go to CrowdStrike because this is where I was working, and I'm going to look for engineering program manager. Oops. And I'm going to see if anything comes up. And let's see, in my search, I don't see anything. And I believe that's because of the fact that we, or at the time, these positions are eliminated and they're pausing them. So then I'm going to just do general program manager. Is there anything within program management? This is incentive program management. It's not necessarily what I want, I want something that like relates to the current job that I'm doing. A little tip for everyone is that if you are currently applying to a job, save the job description somewhere. Take a screenshot, print the page, save it, because in the future, when you want to update your resume, this could come in handy. So it looks like I'm not going to find any. I will then turn to Google and I'll go engineering program manager jobs. I could also post engineering program manager. Let me do jobs at CrowdStrike. And sometimes you can get lucky and you'll find something. So let's see, this Indeed posting might come up with something, but they might have taken it down. Yeah, looks like they took it down. So you probably can't find one. We'll just stick with one of the job postings on the career page. Let's just do a principal product manager. That this was not my job, let's be very clear. But let's just say, for the context of this video, it was. Now, what you can do here is go ahead and start highlighting the top. You can go all the way down. You don't need this information because it's not relevant. You just want to know like what exactly is the job doing. And so that's about to here, right? What you'll do. That will include what you need isn't necessary for what this aspect is. You can copy this though. Let's see if there's anything else relevant. There is not, in my opinion. You can go over to ChatGPT, our best friend, and you can say, I am updating my resume. Here is the job posting for my current position. Please create a resume update for me based on the below information. And then what we'll do is we will paste that, go down a little bit more, and then say, please make the added resume update look similar to my current resume. And actually, I might take this, I'm gonna put it at the top and say, here, please make the added resume update look similar to my current resume and put attached. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and grab my resume. And I'm just gonna drag it in here and drop it. Now that's uploaded and I've included my pasted file, I'm going to go ahead and hit submit or enter. It's going to actually create it the same way that I wrote it. So I have principal product manager of threat detection, which is principal product manager of threat detection content. Let's go back to this. We have May 2025 to present, which is how I have my resume written. And then it says define and maintain the strategic roadmap for next-gen SIEM, cloud security, and identity threat detection content align with the evolving threat trends and customer needs. If I go back here to the job posting, this is very similar, right? Define, collaborate, partner, engage, define, collaborate, drive, champion. So it makes some updates. Now, let's say this was good, but you're like, I did a lot more. Now, if you have specific things that you want to feed ChatGPT, you can do that here. You could say, I worked on this specific project where I had this specific impact, and it will build. Also say, imagine, now, this is a fun one that I like to do. So imagine you are a program manager expert and everything there is to know about program management. Please add context to this resume update for the job, for that job posting, and add buzzwords that will get the attention of recruiters or hiring managers in a similar industry. And let's see what it comes up with. So now it's going to actually pull its own context of what a person does, who's inside of this. And so it uses a lot of the same, right? So this first section we have is very small. Define and maintain, collaborate cross-functional. Ali drive go-to-market strategy, but now it's coming up with like led end-to-end product lifecycle ownership, partnered cross-functionally with engineering, threat research, and data science, like calling out specific teams that you worked with, defined go-to-market strategies. So this is how you can really do it. And it will even spit out like what buzzwords it incorporated. So if you're ever making a post on LinkedIn about things you want to do, or maybe what does this keyword mean, you can actually grab these and go and look them up and do things. The last space I might look is I'll go to LinkedIn and I'll actually just like search jobs on LinkedIn and I might type in like engineering program manager and see if anything pops up and do the same thing. You can copy and paste them. The last little tip and trick that I'll give you is when you're doing this, you could actually take a job that you are interested in applying to and you could grab, let's just go to LinkedIn really quickly and say that I'm really interested in this research and design program manager. You can do this. You can grab the job posting. Let's start with about the job. Actually, let's start with about the job and go down to requirements. We'll grab all of this, go to LinkedIn or ChatGPT again and say, there is a job position I'm very interested in applying to. Please see the job posting below and update my resume to cater to the position. Highlight my experiences so that they are in line with the posting, which will increase my chances of getting my application reviewed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share, I copied that, I'm going to paste the posting here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and attach my resume again. Because now what it will do is it's going to grab my resume and it's going to update my entire resume for me based on this job position. And so it's going to go through and say, okay, here, this is great. Let's update all of the information you have inside of your resume and let's cater it. So first, what it will do is it did my latest position that I had in my resume. So you could say, can you keep going? Can you do all the positions in my resume? And it should run through and start doing that. It's going to analyze your resume and the output will be one position at a time. It may start doing the entire resume. If this doesn't work for some reason, what you can always do is copy your entire resume and paste it in here as well. And then it can actually go through, but it looks like it's grabbing my entire resume right now and it's updating it. And so what it's going to do is if we read the posting, right, which I didn't read, but if you read it, and you go through accountabilities managing the full life cycle of complex programs from planning to scoping to launch and post implementation reviews. So I'm probably going to see like words like managed, right? Anything that's going to be like full end to end, you're going to start to see throughout here. So it really caters your current resume to a position that you're actually interested in. This is a really great way to update your resume quickly. Again, I don't do this for every job because I don't think it's necessary, but it's just a tip and trick. I'll be posting more tomorrow, sharing some more tips. Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow, subscribe, follow me on LinkedIn, look at my TikTok and Instagram, and we'll get through this and find jobs. Thanks, everyone.